In this video, we will be discussing on-page SEO. On-page SEO, it's also known as internal ranking factors. These are parts of SEO or search engine optimization that you have full and total control over. These are areas of your SEO strategy where you can easily overtake your competition, where you can do stuff on your own website to improve how it ranks and how Google sees your website. The most important ranking factors will be covered in this training. Things like the title tag, the meta descriptions, H1 tags and header tags, unique content, duplicate content, page freshness, keywords in body and keyword density, your site's layout, static versus dynamic links, URL structure, XML sitemaps, mobile-friendly design, robots.txt and how to make that work to your advantage, images, URL structure, and then also anchor text links. So these are all factors that will be covered. To start with, the first ranking factor of on-page SEO is title tags. This is the number one most important internal ranking element. Now you could argue that, again, actually any of these methods we talk about could be considered the most important. The most important thing is that you apply what we're teaching you here in this training. On-page SEO involves title tags. This is where you can tweak the code so that your website displays correctly. Now, for example, we're going to go back to the keyword phrase golf training aids, and you can see the arrows. You can see an example of this picture here of an actual search on Google for the phrase golf training aids. You'll notice that Google has highlighted in bold the phrase golf training aids, and they've put it right there in their title tags. That's how these people have optimized. You'll notice Dick's Sporting Goods, a big e-commerce store selling sporting goods and sporting supplies, golf products, baseball products, football. They sell it all there. They've optimized golf training aids and golf nets. They understand that's a big keyword. Notice how they use the keyword phrase in their title tag, and also they use it in their URL, which is the green link that you see there. But you'll notice though the title tag, it starts with golf training aids. You'll also notice up here golftrainingaids.com. That's actually a URL, and it also targets the keyword in their title tags. Golfsmith.com. Notice they also target golf training aids also. That is the title tag. So if you want to know how your website, is using title tags correctly, you could go out to Google, do a search for the phrase site, S-I-T-E, yourwebsite.com, and you could actually see all the pages that Google has indexed for your site, and you could actually see, are you using unique keyword phrases, unique title tags for each and every one of your pages? That's an important factor to consider. Are keywords present in your title tags? If you are looking at your competition, you're going to find this, that they are actually using title tags, especially all the top 10 websites, the top 10 search results on the first page of Google, they are using title tags. Title tags should contain your main keyword for that page. Each page should have a unique title tag. The title tag tells the search engines what your page is about. So it tells Google, tells Bing, it tells those search engines what your page is about. The title tag is most noticeable part in the search results, as you can see from my example here. It is the most noticeable parts, what people click on, and if somebody is searching for golf training aids and they see that bolded, they are going to click on it. That's why Google has bolded that phrase, because they want to make it as easy as possible for their users to identify the websites and searches that they've looked for. So if you typed in dog grooming tips, then you would find that in the title tag. If you were optimized correctly, that would show up there and you would have a good chance of ranking up there. Doesn't mean that just because you put your keyword in the title tag, you're automatically going to improve your search engine rankings. It's one of a multitude of on-page ranking factors, but it's probably the most important one, and one that you do not want to get wrong. You want to include it. You could do everything else perfectly, and if you refuse to put in your keyword in the title tag, you're going to be hurting yourself in the long run. See your title tag and competitor title tag in your browser. So if you want to know what the title tag is that is being used on your website or on a competitor site, you could do the site search that I mentioned where you go to Google, type in the phrase site, your website, and you could actually see how your title tags are displayed. What you want to look for is like unique title tags. You could also go to each page on your website, whatever page you land on, you want to go to that page and you want to actually look and see what keyword phrase is actually showing up in the title tag. And that's going to be found in the tab on whatever browser you're using. So let's say you're using the Chrome browser or Internet Explorer. Notice that what shows up here, golf training aids, at this website, and you'll notice that's their keyword, golf training aids. So you see that in your tab, whether it's Internet Explorer, whether it's Mozilla Firefox or Google Chrome's browser or Microsoft's or Apple's Safari browser, somewhere in there. Look at the top of your browser window or in the tab to see it, to see what title tag is being used on that page for, again, yourself or your competition, and you can get an idea as to how they're using it. Your title tag will appear like this in your HTML code. This is the code that displays your website. So this is all the backend coding. You may or may not be familiar with it, but this is where your title tag is typically found. So your title tag is found between two title areas. So it's a caret to the left, the phrase title, caret to the right, and then your title tag here, and then you'll see it kind of close it off there. So this is just so you can understand what it's going to look like. Let's say you're using a tool like Composer, which is an HTML editor, or something in the past. Composer is similar to a tool like Front Page or Dreamweaver. It's a page where people could kind of develop a website and kind of see what it's going to look like. Well, if you were going into the source code feature, you would see your title tag and it would show up like this in the coding. You may also see it on some WordPress sites. Now, one thing to keep in mind is WordPress coding is going to look a little bit differently, and there are certain things that you could incorporate, certain plugins that you could use, and we'll get to those in a moment, that would actually make inserting your title tags extremely easy. There's lots of software tools out there. Even if you're using like a e-commerce site and you're using a open source like OS Commerce or one of those other ones, then you could actually use a plugin or a tool to make your title tags show up there. Even sites like BigCommerce, which is well known for creating e-commerce sites, they actually make it super easy because they know how important title tags are to their users, because they win. If their users win, they're going to keep using their material. So they make their software search engine friendly as possible to incorporate title tags. Best practices for your title tag. Use your main keywords for that page first. Now, if I'm analyzing somebody's website, the first thing I look at is their title tags. What are they using for their title tags? Use your main keywords for that page first, the main keywords, and try and put them first. Search engines and people read left to right. Just like you're reading, search engines will actually look at that and say, oh, that keyword has more importance because it's found over here. And that's how their robots actually scan a website. They go left to right, top to bottom, left to right. And so if you think of that, when they're going through the code, inside the code, that's what they're looking at, is that code that I just showed you. And so you want to have your keyword phrase in the title tag there. Be creative while incorporating your keywords to increase the click-through rate to your website. Be creative with your title tags. That does not mean just throw in your keywords, but give them an incentive to land on your site. So for example, golf training aids to improve your score. That's a really good title tag because it gives people an incentive, like they're not just seeing golf training aids, but they're getting golf training aids that might improve their score. Or dating success tips that may change your life. Or dating success tips dash free ebook or something like that that's going to make them jump out. Weight loss tutorials to slim you down. Let's say the keyword phrase is weight loss tutorials. And that's going to give people a benefit, or a feature of, if they go through your weight loss tutorials, they may be slimmed down, and that's important to them. Make money online with these proven tips. So instead of just saying make money online, people are going, oh, these are proven tips, proven methods to work, and it's going to help you stand out from the competition that may just be using a generic title tag that just has keyword stuffed into it. So you want to be creative, because what's going to happen is you may get a lot of impressions, but you want to actually increase the click-through on those impressions as well. So if you show up in a search result, you want to have a higher click-through rate into your website. Don't look spammy to the search engines or visitors either. And that would be, something like this. Example would be golf training aids, comma, golf training aids, comma, golf training aids. Obviously, that's going to turn people off. This is not the beginning of, 2004, 2005 when search engines were first starting. It's going to look spammy if you do that. So don't stuff your keywords in there. Consider relevant, closely related keywords in your title tag as well. If using your brand, put it at the end of the title tag. You could put it at the beginning, if you want, but typically you want to go title tag first, and then you could put your brand at the end on all your pages. Some websites like to do that, some don't. So let's say you're selling survival gear and your website's easysurvivalgear.com. You could do, survival equipment or survival backpack, 2-day survival backpack dash easysurvivalgear.com. Keep it around 40 to 50 characters to prevent it from being cut off in the search results phrase. So that's one thing to keep in mind. So if you use a catchy word at the end of your keyword phrase, then you want to make sure it's not too long, or else it's going to actually just have ... right after it instead of showing up your entire phrase, because Google, between 40 and 50 key characters beyond that, it may end up being cut off. So here are, again, how to improve your title tags. Free HTML editor. Again, Composer, as I mentioned, it allows you to edit title tags in the source section of the editor. So if you have an HTML website that's very basic, very generic, and then you could actually use this tool. It's called Composer. Another thing, if you use a WordPress website, which I recommend, and a lot of people have WordPress sites, WordPress is more than just a blogging platform. It's become a full content management system. The Yoast SEO plugin, it's great for WordPress sites, as is the all-in-one SEO. They make it super easy, so you can have a unique title tag for every blog post you put up, every article you post, whatever content you put in there. They make it super easy to do that. It allows for unique title tags on pages and posts, and it manages other important on-page SEO factors as well for you. So it actually helps you with many of the on-page SEO factors that we're going to be talking about throughout this particular training on on-page SEO. Other things to consider, like the meta description. So this is similar to the title tag, as it's in that same vicinity, that same area. But another thing to keep in mind with any of these changes, whether it's title tags, meta tags, obviously if you're using another solution, like you have an e-commerce site, that's where I would recommend using a tool like BigCommerce or OS Commerce, or something that may have a feature that understands it's important to have title tags. If your site is not built in HTML, or it's not built in WordPress, and it's built in Cold Fusion or some other outdated language or something like that, then you need to outsource or find somebody that can convert your site to something more present and incorporate title tags or add title tags to your site, because it's extremely essential. And you may as well, you're just spinning your wheels and you're not going to see search engine rankings if you're not able to make these changes. So see if they can incorporate that for you if you can't already. On-page SEO used to be a key ranking factor, and it's still important. The main reason it's important is not because you can just stuff keywords in there, but because it oftentimes will be the result that shows up below your title tag listing, which is blue and underlined and clickable within Google, but within a Google search. But it's something that you can use to pre-sell your visitors on why they should click on your link. So not only should you have a catchy title tag that incorporates your keyword and maybe a reason they should visit your site, because as you're getting impressions, you also want to be getting click-throughs, because it's no good if you have all the impressions in the world, like you show up on the first 3, but people are like, I don't want to click on this site. So this kind of allows you to control what Google says about your site in search results. Otherwise, they're just going to pull from the first paragraph on your site. Maybe they're going to pull from another part of your site, and it gives you the chance to pre-sell people on why they should click your link. It can increase your click-throughs in the Google search if used properly. Include positive reasons why they need to visit your website. Give them clear advantages to what they will find at your site. Is it special pricing? Is it quality products? Is it quality customer service and care? Is it quality food? What would it make people want to visit your site? You want to include your target keyword to increase the click-throughs and relevancy. And that's another important factor, because again, Google's robots are looking for keywords as they're scouring your content top to bottom, left to right. And if your keyword phrase is in there, if your keyword phrase shows up in the title tag, so people see it there, and it shows up in the meta description, again, you're not stuffing. You're careful not to stuff keywords in there so it looks spammy. But if your keyword phrase shows up amongst a sentence or two giving people a reason why they should visit your site, then that's also going to be bolded. Google will also make that bold. And so if you do that, it's going to make your user go, wow, this page must be really relevant to what I'm looking for. And again, all these things where people are going, wow, this is the site I want to visit, this is all happening in a very short frame of time. And so that's why it's really important that you have all these things down. It does not guarantee Google's going to use your meta description. I want to point that out. But it's more likely if you include a meta description with your keyword phrase in it that it will end up being used in this way. They will also pull results from snippets of content from your website. It's not ideal for click-throughs usually, though, if they pull snippets from your website, because that could mean they could pull in, like, let's say the first category you have might be your home, about us. It might say home, about us, contact us, and then it might say welcome to my website. Well, that's not very exciting. Whereas if you actually said right in there and you had good meta descriptions, then that's going to be more exciting for people to go through. Meta descriptions. Again, here's an example. So the phrase golf training aids, we'll do this just for consistency. You can see here again, the arrows I'm pointing to is pulled straight from the the actual search results. So you can see, so it's the title tags are the blue part, the bold part that's standing out, and the phrases that are bold, that's the keyword phrase that people are looking for. That's why it's important to have your keyword phrase up in the title tag. You'll notice here in the meta description, improve your game with golf training aids and nets from Dick's Sporting Goods. Golf training aids.com was incorporated in 1984. It services golf instructors. Notice that golf training aids can help with every aspect of your game, whether you want to improve your golf swing or just practice putting. So Golfsmith has it all. So these are examples. I wouldn't say of just like whiz bang. These are the best meta descriptions you could ever use. But I like the one Dick's Sporting Goods uses. They're obviously a big company. They've put a lot of thought. They've probably spent a lot of money on their SEO. Improve your golf game with golf training aids and nets from Dick's Sporting Goods. Find golf nets and putting mats to practice your skills and fine-tune your golf game. So you notice how they did a really good job there, and that's really what a good meta description should incorporate. So it should kind of give people benefit. It doesn't need to, the meta description here doesn't need to start with golf training aids as the first two listings did, but notice how Dick's Sporting Goods ran it right into a benefit, and it basically tells people what else they're going to find on your website. So Dick's Sporting Goods did a great job there of utilizing the meta description, and you want to use that as well. If you're using Composer, this is an example of where the meta description can be found. You'll notice here it's found in there's the title tag, and then you'll notice right down there, there's the meta name equals description. This is where you could put in golf training aids can help every facet of your golf game. And then you've also got the meta keyword where you could type in a couple keywords. The meta keyword is really not essential at all. Like it used to be, just don't stuff keywords. I usually just put in one or two keywords like you see here related to the phrase I'm going for. You'll notice I actually was able in my title tag to use two keywords, golf training aids and improve your golf game, which are also keywords, and then meta name author. If it's applicable, you could plug your name in there. The Yoast SEO plugin for WordPress sites or all-in-one SEO. More people are going to Yoast. It tends to be a little more, a little better plugin to use. But those are also plugins you could actually utilize meta descriptions. You can manage your meta descriptions this way, and it's a really powerful tool. Custom meta descriptions and title tags make it really easy with this tool for any particular page. And again, whatever software you're using for your site, you should look and make sure they're allowing you to incorporate meta descriptions and title tags appropriately. It also manages other important SEO factors, as we pointed out. So those are good plugins. HTML example I wanted to show you if you're using Composer or another avenue. Otherwise, you're going to want to outsource this kind of SEO. But this training is going to help you because you can give, you could give these slides or give this training or in your instructions saying, hey, I want unique meta descriptions for each one of my pages. I want unique title tags on each of my pages. So you know what to ask for now when you're getting your website designed. You know what to look for. And actually, if you do the search, looking at your source code, you should see if there's meta descriptions being used within your content. And the next content that we're going to talk about are H1 tags, or also known as header tags. This is another very important on-page SEO factor. Place your page's main keyword in the headline, or H1 tag, as it's also called, the headline. Use only one time on each page. You don't want to stuff the H1. It doesn't do you any advantage to have multiple H1 tags, as they're called. And these are pretty simple to insert. They make it really simple. They call it heading 1 within Composer. WordPress makes it pretty simple. Depending on the platform you're using, you can actually just drag down and choose a header for that article. And also the plugins will also assist you with that. You want to only use it one time. Use heading tags to emphasize important text, and that would be, the important text would be the keyword phrase on there. Again, you're not stuffing keywords here. Here's best practices for the best use of H1 tags. Make it flow in your headline. Plan for your website users first and the search engine second. So that means, what are people landing on your site for? You're not there to stuff keywords into your H1 tag. You're there for your users. And therefore, if it makes sense to incorporate your main keyword in your H1 tag, then by all means use it. If it does not make sense at all, then you could consider, maybe not incorporating it right away. Most of the time it will, especially if your page is targeted around a certain keyword phrase, like golf training aids, or around grooming, golf, let's say dog grooming tips, or weight loss success stories, or weight loss information, whatever the case is, let's say weight loss information, then you could actually have an article about the top 15 weight loss resources or whatever. It's always a good practice for long-term successful rankings, though, is regardless of what we're doing here, plan your website for users first and search engines second. That's extremely important. You could use CSS or WordPress themes that allow for clean placement of headlines, and CSS stands for Cascading Style Sheets. And if you have a really nice website, the reason I'm mentioning this is not an HTML design course, this is an SEO course, but I want to give you enough information and tools so you can be dangerous, so you can, when you outsource your website, you can say, hey, I want you to use CSS, and your designer should know what this is, and if they don't, they probably shouldn't be your designer. They should know how to make your CSS look good to your website, so that when you have a H1 tag placed, it looks good. It doesn't just like boom take up the entire page. It should look very, very clean and should look good within your WordPress theme as well. Don't overuse heading tags. Again, I've mentioned that multiple times on here, and that's for a key reason. Be careful about using header tags, which can change the size of font. That's one thing to really look at. After you adjust it, take a look at it. There are other SEO courses. They'll tell you the H2, H3, H4 tag. That's kind of a thing of the past. The H1 tag is the most important one. You can use these elements still on a page that makes sense. Those are just like, these are the second most important headlines on this page and those types of things. So here's an example of what H1 tags are, and you can see how it's incorporated. So you can see here in the coding here, I actually took a snippet of what the coding of this particular website that ranks at the top of Google for golf training aids, and you can see here I took a screenshot here of an example of an H1 tag in use. This is what it looks like within the website. Now notice they call it cat header there. That's because it's pulling from the CSS. Again, this is not a technical HTML course. This again is all about SEO. But this is enough so you could actually demonstrate this to your web designer and say, hey, I want you to incorporate this. Or it gives you an idea to where you can look at how you could utilize it. You don't need to have the class equals in there by any means. The reason it's there, though, is because it will help it flow with the design. As you can see, this one kind of flows with the design. You'll notice golf training aids is in that green area in the middle there, and you'll notice that it shows up there. So golf training aids right there shows up. Welcome to Golf Training Aids Department at, and then there's the website. And so again, you can see how H1 tags are being utilized here effectively and really well done, because it kind of flows with the design, and it really is clean. It integrates with the site. That's what H1 tags should be used for. And again, you could also do golf training aids and then do a phrase after it if it makes sense, but that's how they should be used. This is a good example. This is an e-commerce style website that's selling golf products and golf tools. So we're going to actually stop this particular video, and in the next one we're going to kick off and start talking about on-page SEO factors and utilizing quality content and how that comes into play for your overall SEO strategy.